All right, we're good.
Oh, I'm so comfy right now. I don't know how comfy these shoes are.
Whose shoes are those? You said they weren't yours.
DJs.
They're DJs?
Yeah.
What do they have, like a size 7?
I have a big foot.
Oh, okay.
Did you like you weren't just pretending you really didn't know that was Michael Jordan on your shirt earlier?
No.
Okay.
Really?
No.
I thought like you were doing a bit
No.
because you were matching perfectly like a Michael Jordan like shirt with a pair of Jordans that are color matched to the Bulls colors.
Yeah.
And I thought you were like doing this whole thing like, oh yeah, I had no idea what I was doing.
I feel like you can tell that a boy dressed me,
You think so?
right? Or
A
no?
boy dressed you?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the age, because like if it were like a toddler, you'd probably be wearing like a cowboy hat and like a space laser or something. But you're
Right.
pretty flowing over here.
But also girls of like this generation do dress like that. Like I've seen
Yeah,
this
they
outfit
do.
on multiple chicks.
Yeah, I don't want to like sound too feminist or woke or whatever, but I'm pretty sure boys and girls both dress themselves pretty regularly.
This is
We
not
let
my
them dress themselves
go-to vibe.
Is it not?
Is it not? Is
Whose
it?
shirt is that? Is that
This
also
is DJ.
DJ's?
Yeah, I said, I don't know. I asked him about my outfit. I said, do you like my outfit? He clearly didn't, because he said no. And so he said, wear this shirt and put these shoes on.
DJ's got an eye for something, man. He set this whole thing up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
when it took us
he
like
did.
6 months.
Yeah, I walked in here and I was like, whoa, I really like how this room flows. Like, this is a good vibe for a podcast.
He
Yeah.
put this all together and
It's
like
very cool.
Yeah.
We were just racking our brain trying to figure out what to do. We were thinking about buying furniture and stuff, and he's like, "We have all this. Just put this here, put that lamp there." We used to have a photo up there, but
Oh, shit! Not to
Yeah,
like
we had to
spoil
take
the
it down.
magic or anything too, but like in my opinion, the best podcasts come from a room where this looks like magic and just a little bit off stream is a total disaster.
yeah.
You guys are killing it.
that's why I sit
Thank
here.
you.
I don't like looking back there.
Yeah.
I face the windows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's like such a good use of the space.
Yeah, thanks.
It's gonna be difficult in the summer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's life in Texas though.
Yeah. Do you feel toasty?
Right now? Oh no, I couldn't
feel
be more
comfy.
comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a great, and like we've been having weird weather all week. Like Wednesday we had like high winds and rain and storms, and like the next day was like 90.
I know.
This is like the perfect hybrid. It's like
Yeah.
sunny.
It's
there's
perfect
shade
right now.
We're in like a cozy, breezy room that's obviously shaded. Yeah, it's good. Good life in Texas right now.
Yeah, honestly, it's feeling great out here.
Allergies are bad. I don't know if you'll deal with that, but
I
yeah,
do.
they started killing me recently.
I'm having
It
the worst
sucks.
time.
It's been
Not fun.
recent, like the past 2 years, I feel like.
for me, I think it's like since I moved to Texas, which was 1999, I think.
Where were you from originally? Also, introduce our guest.
sorry. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Miles. Miles is a local comedian here in Dallas, Texas, killing it out here. I first saw you in the roast battle, I think. Was it the roast battle?
I think so. Yeah, you were up against Eddie.
Jamie Jakes, I want to say.
Jamie
at Reno's.
Jakes.
Yeah.
Jamie
dude.
Jakes. I was
That's
like,
funny because
he
his
killed
episode
him.
is coming out before yours.
Oh, right
Yeah.
on, dude.
His episode's
He's
coming
a
out
good
this
friend
week.
of mine, man. We actually just recorded a sketch yesterday. He started this last football season a podcast called What Are We Talking About? And I'm a reoccurring guest, sometimes co-host, or that's not the right word, like co-announcer when we do commentary for football games and things of that nature. But we've been just, since football season's over, we've just been doing a lot of sketches yesterday. And yesterday, him and I did one where we pretended to be football general managers of like NFL teams, and we were spreading rumors about like high profile rookie draft picks so that like we could like tank where they go. So it was silly stuff. Like we were making funny jokes about stuff like somebody was not going to get drafted because they didn't like Taylor Swift. They were more of a Kanye fan. Just stupid stuff. Somebody still calls it Twitter. Just dumb shit like that. It was super fun. But I love Jamie, dude. He's actually going to be on another show I'm producing in Grapevine at a wine bar coming up in like May.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Oh,
Wine
yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
Love that.
Dude, I did one last night. Wine show. I love doing brewery shows. Like that's always like one of my favorite venues in general. Branching out into wine, not too shabby. It's a
Really?
different vibe, but it's still really fun.
Oh, Oh my god!
I just showed a place called LaRue Winery, which was great because it's actually in Louisville, which is like the only show I've ever done in the town I live in. It usually doesn't do a lot of comedy.
Nice.
But yeah, wine bar. It's a good vibe for a comedy show.
Dang, that's awesome. You would never thought.
Yeah, honestly, like when I think of like wine as it's represented on like TV or whatever, like my head goes like Frasier, just being like super pretentious about it. Just like somebody would be like, that joke wasn't well written. Yeah, but I love Frasier, but like his character would hate that, I think.
Yeah, like somebody's swirling it and then shoving it into their face, like sniffing it, like, no, you have to sift it. Let it breathe.
Are y'all South Park fans where they did that where they were smelling it was when the electric cars came out and they were like sniffing their own like farts essentially.
Yeah.
And they were like swirling it like wine glasses and like earthy tones.
I know that. The sommeliers are like the best scammers in the world. They have no idea what the difference is.
Oh, sommeliers? Oh,
Yeah.
100%. You said scammers? Sorry, I almost dropped my Red Bull. But
No, you're good.
yeah, it's 100%. The
Really?
sommelier thing is a scam.
Yeah.
You can't. That has got to be some sort of secret society handshake bullshit or something. Like there is no way that your nose just works that much better than the rest of ours.
I have a refined palate. There's hints of oak and nut. Meanwhile, they have like the label just looking over at it.
Oh, well, I wanted to book a wine tour with the girls.
Oh, it's fun. You still
Oh,
get
it's super
drunk.
fun. And it's honestly the best part of it is go and just make stuff up. Just swirl and sniff and just be like, oh my God, are you getting gummy
yeah.
bears? I'm getting Hasbro gummy bears.
Yes. Everybody thinks it's different, but it's definitely Haribo.
Yeah,
getting
it's
this-
an Hasbro. Like they're I meant like the plastic toy version of a gummy bear. That's
No, I mean the
specifically
plastic
what I'm
ones that children aren't supposed to swallow.
Right, yeah.
Getting notes of cotton candy.
Yeah, this reminds me of the fair for sure.
Oh yeah.
I always
Turkey
just
leg.
chug my wine. I chug it.
You
That's
remember-
dangerous. You're a slap the bag type of girl, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, I have a system.
Okay.
There
I'm
we
bringing
go.
it back.
I'm so stoked to hear this. What's the system?
You should be.
So-
It's terrifying.
You know how like girls have to be, well, everybody in general has to be careful when like going out to bars because people put stuff in your drink. So I'm like,
I will say differences in genders there. Only chicks get free drugs at bars. That doesn't happen for guys.
we
Kidding.
get drugs
Kidding.
for free.
Yeah, no, it's legit dangerous out there. Be careful. Cover your drinks and shit. But what's your system?
So I just go to the bar and I ask for 3 shots to start with, and I take them back to back,
Okay.
and then
And then you don't have to worry about it for a minute.
yeah, because you get it over with at the
See, that to
beginning
me-
of the show.
That to me feels like it's a potentially flawed system because you might be less aware of what's going on around you immediately from the point that you get there, as opposed to if you pace yourself, you can kind of evaluate what's happening in the room and be like, oh yeah, that dude looks like he's going to drop something in my glass.
So the logic behind it is that she takes them at the bar and then she doesn't have a drink.
Anywhere near her?
Yeah, that could be spiked.
yeah,
There are other dangers to consider, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I
Like
could
somebody,
fall off.
like a guy sees you take 3 shots back to back and
Yeah.
is like,
That's the one. And not saying like that's the one in the romantic way that you're hoping either.
Yeah, not
This
like.
is not a rom-com. This is one of those Netflix documentaries.
it's not a me cute.
Yeah, it's like that one the way that Dahmer did it.
It's not as much serendipitous as it is serial killer.
Yeah, he's not gonna eat your ass at the end of the night. He's just gonna eat you.
Honestly, how dare you ask for a woman for help?
What?
What? Yeah, did I?
Wait, is that Dahmer, the one that would like stop and be like,
No,
help me
Dahmer
with
was.
my truck?
No,
Oh,
that was.
I don't
Who's
think
that?
that was Dahmer.
Who is that?
Well, it was definitely the guy in
Silence of the
Lambs, but that was based on a real person too. Was that
He was
Gein?
a
Ed
serial
Gein,
killer.
maybe?
think so.
He was
Yeah,
attractive.
yeah. Ed Gein was all the women.
Ted Bundy.
Ted,
Bundy.
it is Ted. Ed Gein was the dude that made like furniture out of skin. Like he had like a lampshade
Jeepers
made of like he was.
Creepers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You know,
Ted
Jeepers
Bundy was the
Creepers is
one.
coming out
A
already.
sequel to it? Or is it a
this
remake?
year. No, this year.
Jeepers Creepers.
You know how in the movie it says May 23rd?
We're getting close.
Oh, I didn't realize
It's
that was
this
a
year.
thing.
Is
Wild.
it
in
supposed to be
May.
2024? I thought it was last year.
As I say, you just said 2023, and we're definitely past that.
Did you actually say 23?
Wait.
Damn, Jeepers creeped and we didn't even care.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's so many creeps nowadays. Jeepers doesn't even really rank anymore.
That movie scared me so bad.
The first one, yes.
The first one was good.
The first one was
Justin
crazy.
Long is always solid. They do make that is a movie that you have to be able to turn off your brain as a horror fan because there's so much like why in the hell would you go take down this tunnel right now?
Right.
Like get the hell out of there.
But he did die.
He did.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Did y'all see Barbarian?
Oh no.
No, I haven't seen
Justin
that.
Long also in that movie, total douchebag. Actually, dude that would be the type to worry about at the bar earlier that we were talking about. But Barbarian was really good if you're horror fans. I love horror movies, and that was one that just completely took me by surprise, and that at no point during the movie did I have any clue where it was going, which is a really fun ride.
That's
I like
really hard
movies
to
like
do
that.
now.
Yeah, I love
Nowadays.
movies like that. Like, have you ever seen Mother with Jennifer Lawrence?
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Another great example.
I
Yeah.
still haven't seen it. I'm scared.
I tell so many people about it. I've only seen it once and I was very stoned, but the whole time I was just like, what is this and why do I love it?
Yeah. I
so
do
it
love
is
horror
horror.
movies like that.
So that one is horror.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Psychological horror.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not gore.
No,
Well,
Barbarian is gory.
Oh, okay.
What's that other one that Justin Long was in? Tusk? You remember that one?
Dude, I'm such a big Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for my stylist.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
This one, yeah.
Thanks, dude. Hell yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
I'm keeping it in the bag.
Okay. Yeah, I feel
Unless
more
they pay you, bro.
finish.
Yeah, tell you what.
Love you. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.
Oh, I stole one of your cables, by the way. I'll give it back to you when we're done.
If you are a beer brand and you would like to sponsor this show, just write it in and we will edit it so that we reveal a bag with whatever company pays us
Let's
right
do
here
it
right
now.
Yeah.
Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Ready? And,
yeah, like do
and
some
I'll dub it.
Yeah, we'll make it so it works.
Keep mine in.
Look at all the flavor options. What a great company. You should pay us to tell you to buy this brand.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hey, dude, Kevin Smith was awesome. Watched Mallrats recently. Holds up.
One of my favorites, dude.
Fantastic.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Mallrats
I haven't seen it.
with Jason Lee. What's the guy from Dazed and Confused?
Ben Affleck?
No. Ben Affleck
but
is
Ben Affleck's also in that one.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey?
the main one. The
Yeah,
one,
it's his. Isn't it his
or
brother
Pinky.
though?
Pink. No, it's him.
I'm so bad with names on on actors and stuff. Like, I'm usually better with characters than I am with actual human names.
He played Pinkman in Dazed and
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah,
I
he was the one that
remember
didn't want to play football.
And and then in Mallrats, he's the lead character that essentially was planning to propose to his girlfriend at the Jaws ride at Universal Studios, but it all falls apart, and he's trying to recover the relationship.
Yeah, because
Oh, I
the
want
dad.
to see that.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's all set in a mall.
Yeah.
So I think you would like
Oh,
that
love
aspect.
that.
I definitely think it's one of those movies that like people that are old enough to really remember mall heydays appreciate it for like the nostalgia and the fun of like it represents that life so well. And then I think for like a younger generation, I would imagine it would just be this weird like, I wonder why people live so weird in the past. Like,
Honestly,
could you just
yeah.
Amazon that?
No.
There have been multiple times where I watch a movie where it's set like in a different time period before cell phones, and I'm like, we were watching, we were at your place and we were watching Little Things, that one with what's his name, Rami Malek and Denzel Washington, and it's set in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there, and it's basically about a serial killer, right? And this woman at the beginning is driving her car and then gets out of it because she was getting chased down by the killer.
Oh my god, I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, she stops at a gas station.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason whatsoever. She just kind of like, she's in a car that's totally functional.
And it's like a
Oh, talking to the mic, buddy.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, right, podcast.
You think I used to be used to that? Yeah, isn't it like it's like a semi truck driver too that like ends up like tormenting them?
No, it was that's the Jeepers Creepers.
No, it's not.
But
Is it?
it's just
It's
like
another one, but
yeah, it's like a regular car, and then he like got on her ass really quick, pulled off to the side, and was like menacing her, and then she kept driving. He also kept driving. Ended up pulling out into a driveway or into a gas station, And then got out and was just like screaming, "Help me, somebody help me." But she was in a fucking functional car. Like, she could have just kept driving.
Yeah, she didn't have to put herself into, like, being in a vehicle is a way more protected space. Yeah.
But like when I watched it and she was getting out of the car, I was like, just fucking call somebody. Oh, right.
No cell phone. Yeah.
No cell phone.
Yep.
Like an idiot.
Cell phone situations have actually made a lot of horror situations very, very tough. Like, I feel like it was probably a really hard job to be a horror writer at the invention of cell phones, because it like takes away so many of your tropes.
You would think, but also, if you remember, cell phones used to have dog shit signal.
True.
So if you set it in the country, like a lot of horror movies are, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, when they did it in like 2003.
Yeah.
I think they had cell phones and they just didn't have service.
Just didn't have service. Yeah. You could get away with that for a while, but like if you look at the Verizon map, I mean, hell, even like the
like the Verizon map,
even like the Boost map is like pretty out there at this point.
Dude, fuck Boost. They made me change my cell phone number 3 times when I had them.
Really?
I love their flip phone.
I never had Boost, but I did have Metro PCS, which is basically like the same thing. And I have to say, the savings was nice, but I am now with T-Mobile, which cost a little bit more. But bro, shit just works. Like, you just you hit a button and it does the thing you want it to do, like, most of the time.
You're paying for convenience,
right? Yeah,
in a timely fashion as well.
And 100%. But like, you also with like trying to like work gig lifestyle and whatnot, I can't just not have my texting not work right now. Like I need that.
Yeah.
Like,
the texting is a very minimal. It's like the bare minimum. So
I don't even need it to make calls as long as it'll text.
Yeah. Did you get affected when the towers went down?
No, that was just an AT&T problem, I think. Yeah.
No, some people with T-Mobile
those people are crazy.
Oh, really?
Those AT&T cost so much money. And that's the service you're getting? Like, come on, dude.
That's crazy.
Bro, you're making poor choices.
$60 a month to people.
I don't know how you ended up podcasting in a garage, but you need to make better decisions.
It was all because of that AT&T contract. That's how I ended up here. It's a family plan, like with my girl, so we're paying like $60 a month. It's not.
I was gonna say, I think there's probably exceptions to that rule if you've got like a bunch of lines and stuff.
It used to be really bad. Like, I remember my friends in high school had AT&T, and they were like, "Yeah, my parents pay like $200, and I can use the internet for 12 minutes a month, something like that." I don't know.
That's crazy because you used to have to share gigabytes or something.
Yeah,
right?
like, remember the free call minutes after 9 or whatever? That would have been good for a horror movie. There should have been like somebody's getting stalked, but it's like, oh, it's 7:58. I gotta wait an hour and 2 minutes before I can call for help.
Call the police.
They can do it in real time. Like there's like a clock ticking down the entire movie, and you're just like the tension rises. That'd be fun.
The music, the score, that would be.
That'd be great. And then just one moment where somebody's about to get hacked, and they're like, "Quick, call somebody." 8:53.
Yeah, and then at 9:01 you have Boost that you call, and it's just like, "We're sorry, our phone isn't functioning right now."
Our phone is a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, for some reason, when I had Boost Mobile, because I was trying to only pay like $20 a month or whatever, and this was when I was like in high school, and then I tried to go pay my cell phone bill like a week early because I had the money, and they said, "Oh, if you do that, we have to change your phone number."
To pay early?
Yeah, Mike.
To pay early? Why am I so bad at remembering this part? I'm gonna go grab a mic stand out of my car in a second.
Actually, that might be it. That might be it.
You're like, I've never had to hold a mic, you peasants. We'll get mic holders.
Somebody made fun of me last weekend. I was watching WrestleMania with a friend of mine, and I was holding a beer. And basically, I'm standing around, and I'm going to move the mic, but don't worry, I'll move it back before I talk. I was holding my beer like this. And I apparently was doing this a lot, and I didn't really realize it. And now I've been very aware of it, but it was pointed out to me that when I'm not holding a microphone and I have like a beer or a drink, I hold it like a microphone as if it's some sort of crutch. So I just need to feel less comfortable here, I suppose.
Whatever gets you through it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's your shield.
Yeah. Are y'all wrestling fans? You missed a good one.
Last night?
Last weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you gone to WrestleMania when it's been in Dallas?
I have.
Yeah.
I've gone twice in Dallas, and then I actually went to WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, like 10 years ago.
Nice. So you've been watching it from...
I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid. It was one of those things that, like, in my house growing up, like when I was like a toddler or like a young child, like Hulk Hogan and like all the like Macho Man Randy Savage were like top of the game. So, you know, bright colors and like kid friendly and like super like sucked me in. My dad hated it though, because he was always, that's fake shit, blah, blah, blah. But then eventually it got to the point where, I mean, all my friends were watching it. So if my dad wouldn't let me watch it, I would just watch it at a friend's house. And then eventually it's like, whatever, watch your dumb fake gay wrestling or whatever.
Damn, like I remember our cousins used to be very into it back when they were doing like the clay caricature things.
Oh my god, I love Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes.
I love that show so much, man.
But they would play it right before, right? Or like
I don't really remember. There was characters that crossed over. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin was a regular character on Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah.
One of the episodes I always remember is the one where the lead singer of Creed fought Eddie Vedder.
Nice.
Give me back my voice.
That's a show that is very like, that show is done in a couple of like iterations essentially. So there's like an original season 1 and 2, and then it like got canceled and it came back, and it's really hard to find the original seasons of Celebrity Deathmatch. Like, you can easily find like the remake seasons when it returns and whatnot, but there are a couple of early seasons out there that are just difficult to get across, and I don't know if they're like lost media or I'm just bad at the internet, but I've struggled with it.
Which one was Britney on? Britney Spears. I know she did one.
Oh my god! I want to say she fought Christina Aguilera, but I'm highly using context clues on that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They were always at odds. You know, yesterday I found out that I can't tell the difference between Gwen Stefani and Christina Aguilera. We were watching music videos. Yeah, we were watching music videos at my friend's house. Yeah. We were watching music videos at my friend's house, and every time, like, it was just randomly playing, and I was like, that one's Christina, right? No, you fucking idiot, it's Gwen.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking about that in my head right now.
They're interchangeable.
Especially now. I think that's even more true than it probably was 20 years ago. Oh, that's depressing. But
that is so sad.
Right?
Yeah. I'm so sad.
I watched this, like, reel this morning that made me laugh, because basically it was like a mom talking to her daughter, and the daughter was talking about how she's watching classic comedy, and she was watching Mean Girls, and she's like, Mean Girls isn't like an old comedy, and she's like, it's 20 years old, and it's just like, no, old comedy is like, I don't know, the Breakfast Club. And then it was basically like, oh well, I want to say it's like, if you were alive in like the year 2000, the Breakfast Club was as old then as the Mean Girls is now, is like the point. And it's just like, man, time really is cruel. Like,
it's so cruel.
It sneaks up, dude.
And these kids have no idea like what they missed out on.
Kids, dude.
These damn kids.
Shrek, we probably see Shrek the same way that like adults at that time saw like what's a movie that came out in the 80s, like Never Ending Story.
Oh gosh,
yeah, just one that was like basically on all the time, repeat.
You know, I'm chronically online. I'm not proud to say that, but I am.
Really, you sounded pretty proud.
Yeah, it felt like you were making like a bold statement of like, come at me. Who's more online than me? None of you.
You're like, I have T-Mobile, so I'm chronically online.
Anyway, I'm like watching like girly stuff, right? And a lot of the people that I follow have like Shrek in the background playing. There's one like TikToker that's really popular, and he always has Shrek in the back playing. And I've seen it a lot in other people's TikToks, and I think it's made a comeback.
There's
Shrek raves.
I was gonna bring that up. I literally have a friend that I know that goes to Shrek raves, and she loves it. Like, she has such a great time.
That's dope. Shrek is awesome. I loved that movie when I was a kid.
Really
so
solid,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
I never really got into the sequels. I've seen them probably, and I enjoyed the Universal Studio ride at one point, but the first one was just the one that really connected to me, because it was like, I think it came out when I was in high school. But the sequels, I think it was one of those things where it's like, I just was in college and like distracted and not really seeing movies and probably not prioritizing cartoons at that time.
Yeah.
Ironic, because now they're basically, I'm like, I'm a giant child. I should have just accepted that from the get-go.
Yeah. Shrek 2 is great. The third one teeters off a little bit, and then the rest of them just lame.
Yeah. No, it's
So like the Fast and the Furious franchise. Pretty much the same rules.
Buddy.
Oh no, we stepped
I actually
it.
really
We
love those
are-
movies.
You stepped
there we
into
go.
some shit
We
here,
have to
buddy.
Are you a
stop
fan?
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
dude.
I
no.
love them all. I hated the ending of the last one and a
the
lot of the last
cliffhanger?
one, but I will say that anybody that hates Fast and Furious X or Fast X or whatever they called it, you need to rewatch that and just appreciate how amazing. Is it Jason Momoa is his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that dude as a villain is just so like he
much
he
fun.
basically is like, oh, I'm joining the dumbest franchise in the history of movies. I'm gonna out dumb everybody,
Yeah.
and he kills it, dude. I could watch him being an evil psychopath for like ever, and it's
I
amazing.
haven't. I can't watch it. I'm sorry.
You just have to watch it like.
I just can't.
Shut your brain off and just
Brain
watch
off.
it. Yeah.
Dude, and
So much
honestly,
fun.
that's true of so many things. Wrestling, brain off. You turn your brain off and you don't think about logic and you just have fun with it. It's
Yep. Yeah.
fantastic. Most horror movies, like police don't exist apparently, or they're all just terrible at their job, which is arguable, but in a very specific way that helps these killers get away with it for like a long time.
And are sometimes a part of it.
And are sometimes a part of it for sure. But yeah, turn your brain off movie. Fast and the Furious is a hard franchise for me to argue that you can beat because it has something for everybody.
Honestly, yeah. The first three are my faves.
The first three?
The first three.
First three are good, but I think they really got their stride with 5.
Fast 5 was fantastic. Yeah,
5 was good.
and Fast 5 is really where it kind of reset. I know the actual reset was 4, and in my opinion, that's the weakest one.
Yes. But it is also a reset, so they have to kind of somewhat reestablish everything.
A lot of, and let's be real, just decide to change a lot of things. Be like, yeah, we're doing this now. We remember what we did before, but we're doing this now.
I wish I would have gone further with the racing.
Yeah, no, it definitely
racist
becomes
sometimes.
more super spies that sometimes are
Yeah.
car enthusiasts than it is anything
The
else.
super spice thing is crazy.
Dude, I worked an event. I didn't get to like to perform or anything. Actually, Jamie Jakes did. I was there helping him. But it was called Speed Fest at Texas Motor Speedway, and it was just like a car show basically. But the only reason I bring it up is the people that run it are actually Paul Walker's brother. Oh my God, he's the rapper that was in part 2. Then he comes back throughout.
Ludacris?
Nope, other one. Main guy next to Paul Walker.
Oh, Tyrese?
Tyrese, thank you.
Yeah.
Tyrese and Paul Walker's brother basically run this event, and Vin Diesel was there. Like they all came out and like were hyping up the crowd, and it was like all for like Paul Walker's charity essentially. But it was a really fun event, and it felt basically the concept of it was to feel like Race Wars from the first movie, which terrible name by the way. They really should have thought that one through.
I didn't think about that until right now.
Right this second, honestly. We are bad minorities.
We just love cars so much.
It did, and it was such a cool event, and they had so many people that literally recreated some of the most popular cars from the Fast. Like obviously Paul Walker's green and blue one from the first movie. They had Vin Diesel's like hot rod with like the I don't know cars actually. I just think they look cool. But the thing with the thing sticking out of the front, that was fun. Like I was the kid that bought Hot Wheels because I'm like, that one looks neat. I was basically Homer Simpson in that episode where he creates his own car, and it's completely non-functional, but it looks cool as hell.
Yeah. And it costs $1 million to just make one.
Right.
Dude, I love The Simpsons. I started rewatching them whenever it came on, when Disney Plus came out. I just put it on and it was great. And it was when we were living with my girl's sister. She has a young daughter. I just put it on one day and I was cleaning, and then she was just sitting there watching it the whole time. She was like 9 years old probably at the time. She was just like, yeah, this is cool.
Dude, that brings me
my
so much
God.
joy to know that.
Yeah, it transcends generations.
It does. I did a Simpsons podcast for like 6 years. We were reviewing every episode of The Simpsons was the goal. Got through like season 14 and then hit a hiatus where we took a break for a while. It just got to be a lot. But I was very fortunate that during that time, I actually was able to get several of The Simpsons writers on the show and have them on as guests.
Holy shit.
Had some really cool conversations. One of the bigger guests I was able to get, I got both Al Jean and Mike Reese, who are like, after Matt Groening, those are basically the guys. And yeah, it was super cool getting to like kind of pick their brains and go through some of the episodes that they actually wrote, and just talking about the process and whatnot.
How did you get in contact with them? Did you just email them?
Dude, I was Twitter, formerly Twitter, I guess, but it was Twitter. And I literally was just tweeting at these various people, and it started with, I got a woman by the name of Carolyn Omine, who is still currently to this day a Simpsons writer on the show. And I more or less just kind of like jokingly put out like, hey, when we get to this episode, would you be a guest on the show? And it was like forever away. She was like, yeah, reach out to me. And I was like, noted, and I will. And did that, like, you know, just stayed in contact, and through the magic of technology and whatnot, just was able to connect with these people that, you know, were really cool and really generous with their time. And it was a neat experience.
That's
sick.
crazy.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it was a good time,
Is that
man.
still available anywhere?
Dude, all of I have like 300 episodes of various quality because I did not know what I was doing. But yeah, there's like over 300 episodes still available. It's called Best Darn Diddly, Diddly. It's the Best Darn Diddly review show. It's my buddy Richie and I. Him and I did just
So can you say
talking
the
about
name
reviewing
again?
episodes. What's that?
Say the name again.
Best Darn Diddly.
Best darn diddly.
Yeah.
I love
A
it.
nod to
Good.
Ned.
Love it.
Yeah. Dude, that's such a like big part of my childhood, and just like I feel like a lot of people feel that way, where if you're funny now, there's a good chance that The Simpsons are at least part of why you understand comedy, or built part of your comedic perspective, I should say.
Well, it depends on your age too, because if you were kind of like in middle school era-ish, like in the 90s, it was The Simpsons. Like that was your shit. That's what everybody was talking about.
For sure.
And then you go into where I was in middle school, like in the mid 2000s.
South Park.
It was a lot of South Park.
That's all I heard
South Park,
growing up.
Family Guy. Yeah.
Family Guy.
You remember you snitched me out for watching The Simpsons?
I sure did.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wait, that
The
out of all the
Simpsons.
shows you just mentioned, The Simpsons was the one that you snitched on for?
Yeah. The Simpsons, the most tame one.
I would
Right?
have thought it was South Park.
No, because I didn't watch South Park at home. I knew to watch
You
that
knew
at
better,
my friend's
yeah.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you're correct. I was born in '85, so basically The Simpsons were on the air in December of '89. So right at the cusp of 1990. More or less, as I'm starting to watch TV, that's the show that like came on. And you're right, so many people have a different perspective based on how old you were at that time, and it's largely to do with The Simpsons. By today's standards, is very mild, and like if you watch it next to South Park, it doesn't even
South
register.
Park was crazy.
South Park got nuts, and I love
Park
South
is
Park,
awesome.
but they're amazing. But they took what The Simpsons did, which was kind of break through into that animated world where it's like, hey, we're doing a cartoon, but we're not doing a cartoon for kids. And then South Park just took that on its head and was like, hey, we're doing a cartoon about kids that's not for kids. Yeah.
It really was. That South Park was just wild.
It's the best.
Not
So
the
funny.
adventure side of things, but I think a great aspect of what South Park does so well, especially in the early years, was they really did capture like the essence of a fourth grader. I get the impression that you've seen this, but there's like a documentary they made called 6 Days to Air, and they literally show the South Park process. And man, no matter what your opinion is of their comedic style or their show or anything, you cannot hate on their hustle, dude. They put in so much work to produce that show, and it makes you wonder how they stay sane in general, two, how they stay sane and then continue to do all these other side projects. So they make video games, they make musicals, they write movies. I mean, it's a lot.
It's crazy.
Damn.
Like Trey, what are the names? Matt Stone, Trey Parker.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone, yeah.
Are those the guys that went to the MTV?
No,
They
the
went
Oscars.
to the Oscars on
the
acid wearing
Oscars,
dresses.
The Oscars.
They got nominated for an Oscar for best song.
It was for what is it?
Is it
Blame
co-
Canada, and
Yes,
Robin Williams
yes.
performed it. It's actually an epic performance. But
I didn't even know that.
yeah, they were
didn't even know it was
they
Robin
they
Williams.
famously went to that year's Oscars in drag, and they were tripping balls on acid,
And
then
ignoring everybody that asked about it.
And then everybody
Really?
would ask him all these questions, and every time they asked, they would just dodge, be like, "Oh my god, everybody's so lovely tonight. I love what everybody's wearing. It's just
It's
such
just
a
such a
beautiful
magic
night,
in
a
the
magical
air."
night." Yeah.
God, they're so funny.
Life goals, dude.
It's crazy.
I've been to some cool places on acid. Never an award show, especially one where I'm nominated. Like that's great.
Yeah, dude.
That's insane.
They were saying that when they did that, they were like, yeah, we're going to show up. Like, hopefully we'll be peaking by the time we get there. Not realizing they had to wait like 2 hours in a limousine line. And they were like,
they're peeking in there? Oh my God.
yeah, I think it hit like as soon as they opened the door because, limos are fucking dark. So,
And then lights, camera, flash.
yeah.
Wow.
Just the dude, my brain would have broken so bad if I was there. As soon as they opened the door, I'd be like, no.
My most recent acid trip, I went to see the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie with a friend of mine, and I'm a Swifty now. It was a magical night, dude. I can't new album on the 19th, dude. Here's my on the 19th. My plan. I'm hanging out with some friends.
May
We're gonna
19th?
listen April 19th, like a week from now. This coming Friday. New Taylor Swift album comes out. Hanging out with some friends, listening to that. Probably gonna cry a little. And then Friday night comedy show. I'm headlining at Reno's. It's gonna be great.
At Reno's. It's so different.
That is wild.
I love that.
It's gonna be a good day, dude.
Cry.
It's gonna be a good day.
I love to cry.
It's important, dude. You gotta
like
cry
sobbing?
sometimes.
Were you sobbing in the theater?
Honestly, like not in like that like emotionally overwhelmed way, but in like we were in like the very high def theater, and it was one of those like it was hitting pretty hard, and I literally kind of at moments forgot that I wasn't really at a concert just because it was like the sound was so good and the picture was so good and people are like dancing and shit. So like you kind of like lose like the seat. So I would say that my eyes were just probably constantly like watering with like not in like a sad way that time. It was a very happy experience. I had a great time.
What made you go? Like what? You just wanted to? No,
a good friend of mine, another comic, I would say her name, but I don't know if she wants me to talk about us doing drugs together in public. She's a huge Swiftie, and we're good friends. We write together and all sorts of stuff. And she was like, hey, I've got this extra ticket. And I was like, hey, I've got this extra tab of acid. And we were like, oh, this would be a good pairing. And I was like, yeah. And I mean, even
she made you feel safe. She made you feel safe, Taylor Swift, when you were on acid.
Well, I at all points except when I had to go to the bathroom. That was more of a like trying to avoid looking at the like you've been to a public bathroom. There's mirrors everywhere. It's hard to not look.
I went to a crazy one yesterday.
Yeah, where was that?
Yeah.
The Hooters in Mesquite. Dude.
Wait, the bathroom specifically is crazy there?
And the Hooters
Yeah,
in
it's a
Mesquite.
picture.
I'll show you a photo.
Just
Okay.
show him the picture.
It's insane.
Okay.
Just keep in mind, Hooters
In Mesquite.
in Mesquite.
Yeah.
Hooters.
I'm more familiar with the
Mesquite.
Hooters establishment than I am Mesquite, to be honest. But I feel like I'm about to learn something.
There you go. That was the setup.
What the fuck? I had a completely different crazy in mind. This is so much worse.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
for you, bros. Holding hands. That's
There's no other option.
Yeah, it would have been awkward if you hadn't.
Yeah, that's my future brother-in-law.
It would have been uncomfortable if it weren't for the contact. But yeah, no, the Taylor Swift experience, dude. I'll say I probably only actually listen actively to maybe like 30% of her songs. I hate myself for this, but I specifically love the songs when she's really angry or sad. Like it sucks. I feel bad that I feel this way because I have all the respect in the world for Taylor Swift. Not as much of a fan as the songs that she writes when she's happy. So I feel like this Kelsey era might not be the greatest.
No.
But no, I say that jokingly. I do really think that her songwriting is next level. Like even the songs that I don't really enjoy listening to, you break down like the lyrics and the songwriting. Woman is an absolute genius, and she's such a kind soul, and I feel like she's just such a positive like person for society.
You just convinced me to watch the movie because I still haven't watched
Hell yeah,
the movie.
dude.
I'm
I
gonna
suggest some
watch
acid.
Where could I get some? Never mind. Let's talk off camera.
Damn, dude, imagine if you were just on acid in the living room with the 5 boys.
I know.
Just
That would
asking
be-
questions.
Actually, that sounds kind of terrible.
Yeah, that sounds frightening.
Oh, I was about to say that would be so much fun.
No, you're going to be really just like, oh my God, I made this thing that now mooches off of me.
Yeah.
Or be
It's
like,
gonna feel like people climbing all over
yeah,
me.
for like a second, and then you'll get like tapped into your actual soul, and you're like, oh my God, like I've labored for all of these people for 9 months, and now
You're
they're here
welcome.
in front of me,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you'll just
break down.
unstoppably cry.
I repopulated the earth
That's good. You know, somebody needs to.
like a
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like a tree.
That's how
More
branching
like an
works.
acorn, really.
Like an acorn. I'm an acorn.
I don't know enough about trees to understand this reference.
I only know
Are you
that.
saying you nutted in somebody? What happened?
I was only saying that because we were watching Avatar recently, The Last Airbender, and
Oh, when you said that, I thought you meant the blue people
No,
in
no.
space. No, okay,
Last
yeah, got it. What was that movie called?
The last
Airbender. You said it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not. I know of that anime, but I'm not much of an anime person, to be honest.
it's not
Me
much of an
neither.
anime though,
Interesting.
because it's like an American one, so like it's cool.
Oh,
Okay, calm down over there, Toby Keith. It's American, so it's good for you.
R.I.P. Toby Keith.
you know, we killed him.
We did not kill Toby Keith.
Like you personally, or like America? in
We did
general?
not kill Toby Keith.
We killed him.
Okay, I gotta hear this story.
Tell him what
All
you
right.
did. It was him.
We were recording an episode of our other podcast called Word Vomit.
Okay.
So we have two. We have this one that we have guests on, and then we have another one where we're just talking about like pop culture stuff, right? Kind of just trying to get our numbers up. And
Why would you say that?
Like Jordan, dude. Gotta get
Exactly.
those rings.
so we were at my place recording, and I told her like, "Hey, I read these song lyrics that I really enjoyed, and I want to kind of open with them for the podcast." She was like, "All right." So we started recording, and I was like, "Okay, well, I was telling you off mic, I have these lyrics, and I wrote them down. I might get a little emotional singing them, but like, I wanted to tell them to you." She was like, "Okay, great, yeah, let's do it." Red Solo Cup.
Perfect.
We have a clip of it on our Instagram,
But I'm
and
like,
then like 2 days later, the motherfucker dies.
Yeah.
no, it was the next day on the hour.
On the hour.
Yeah.
Not on the hour. Also,
Well, I don't know really what.
Controversy in the story already.
so it was like 3 days
But
later.
we
It was like the
jinxed him.
following week.
That's crazy.
We jinxed him.
It's there's got to be a like word for that. Coincidence,
Coincidence.
probably. That's probably.
Coincidence.
It's just probably a coincidence, right?
Coincidence.
I'm trying to make it more complicated than it is.
Yeah, we killed him.
Serendipity? Is that?
Maybe.
No, I think that's more in the context of like luck.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. That's kind of
that's
like
a
I
good
thought
thing.
serendipity would be like like we were talking about like the meet cute thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But people dying is not serendipitous.
No, not typically. A couple people maybe.
Speaking of
Unless-
dying, OJ just fucking keeled over.
Dude.
Oh, I know. He just died.
Rest in power, King.
That was
Man
wild.
was innocent, right? That's what we're told.
He was
Okay.
acquitted.
Yeah. Oh,
The glove
there.
did not fit.
It did not fit. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny, dude. Yeah. I teach scuba diving as one of my many side gigs, which means that I'm often underwater and unable to see what's happening in the world. And like, it always inevitably happens, something big will go off like that. Because when I got out of the pool the other day, my phone was just completely full of terrible OJ jokes, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like as somebody who's like friends with like 1,000 comics on Facebook, all I see is just hot takes all day long. And like
Man, I need to get into those groups. That sounds so fun.
That's how I get most of my news. Is like I'm like, oh, people are joking about this man. He must have died. And also, didn't he later in life get arrested for stealing his own sports memorabilia back?
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
I remember reading
he
something like
did.
that, yeah.
He did.
And
That's
also
how he
la-
went to jail.
That's so funny, dude.
Also,
You
later in life,
dummy.
he was like on Twitter
Sorry.
heavily.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and every video that he would post on Twitter, he'd started off with "Hello, Twitter world," and then if you look at just all the comments, knives, just all through it,
knives,
just
all
knife,
the
knife
time.
emojis.
Yeah, dude. But like OJ is the type. He feels like he would have probably just got like the knife emoji tattooed on him somewhere. He'd be like, yeah, it's whatever, dude.
We don't know that he doesn't.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Or didn't.
Yeah, he's wild,
That's the kind of
or was wild.
those kind of people that don't like really don't give a fuck are the ones that are usually like the fucking 1%. Like all these
the
billionaires.
Oh, you have to be a
have
sociopath.
that.
Yeah.
You have to be a sociopath to be that like rich and just not giving a fuck.
Because you're goal driven. You're not trying to be personable with anybody. You're just like, okay, I need to make $1 billion by the time I'm 30. This is the track, and anything that gets in the way of that, I just bulldoze right
Most of us look other humans in the face and we see other people. Mm-hmm. People like that look at humans on the top of the head and see stepping stones.
Exactly.
Like they're just getting to where they need to go, and you're in their way. So they'll use you to get there.
That's crazy.
Or kill you if you won't get out of the way, apparently. Dude, I love one of my favorite like SNL stories is how Norm Macdonald got fired from SNL because he was on the Weekend Update at the time, and he wouldn't stop making OJ jokes. And apparently one of the executives on SNL basically was friends with OJ Simpson and was like, hey man, you got to quit making this joke. So, and he's like, no. And he would just keep doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. Apparently, though, the best part of that is that Norm was fired, and the guy told him specifically, you're fired because you're not funny. And then, like, yeah, one of the funniest people in the world. The next year, Norm Macdonald just blew up because he's Norm Macdonald. So SNL invites him back to host, and his whole monologue is basically a fuck you to SNL because it was like, hey man, a year ago I was fired from the show because I was told I'm not funny. And the thing is, I didn't get any funnier in the last year, so I guess the only thing that could have happened is this show must have gotten really, really bad. And that was like his opening monologue.
How do they let him say that?
Because it's live. Saturday Night Live. That's the operative word.
But they don't check his monologue beforehand?
I mean, he could change it.
Well, I mean, Shane Gillis recently went on.
Yep.
That sounded a lot like the Shane Gillis story, didn't it? Because didn't they hire him for like 2 hours?
So he was hired by SNL, and before he ever actually got to start the job, people started digging up things that he had said in a podcast in like circa 2016. Mm-hmm. And this is like honestly the terrifying thing about comedy in a lot of ways is I've done so many podcasts at this point. I have no idea what I've said. I've probably said some offensive shit. Please look me up. Maybe you'll find some. It is the type of thing where if you do like quote unquote make it or whatever, man, like society loves so much to pick people up to a point so that they can rip them down. Yeah. And that's basically they found some stuff he had made. It was a vaguely racist joke about Chinese people, but it was, nothing that crazy. But he was basically labeled a racist and then fired from the show. Yep. But he went up and arguably may have been the best thing for him because now he's, living the stand-up dream and he's the probably best comic in the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It's crazy because like at the time, like he was doing well, like his podcast was doing fine.
Before SNL?
Before SNL, yes. Mm-hmm. And then he was traveling, doing stand-up, but I think mostly regionally, probably at the time. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure what his touring schedule was like at the time.
But it wasn't what it was now. We know that much.
No. And then that happened, and he just blows up.
Yep.
For something bad. But then he gets his story out, and he's like, yeah, I said something bad on the podcast, and they didn't want to fire me. But also, I'm not going to talk shit about them because Lorne Michaels, the creator of Saturday Night Live, told me himself, like, I want you on the show, dude, but like, the executives are telling me that we can't.
Right. I mean, honestly, I kind of think that was the same thing going back to Norm. I don't think that Lorne wanted to fire Norm. I think that this random executive was putting on the pressure. And at the end of the day, in show business, money talks. So, I mean, all the you can have the best creatives in the world, but if the brass and the money doesn't approve, it's not going to happen.
Well, that's the issue with movies that Matt Damon was actually talking about this, where he was saying that now it's very difficult to try to make comedies the way they would in the early 2000s, late 90s, because they don't have DVD sales to like back them up.
Right.
So you could put in like $6 million to make a movie and then not get anything at the box office, but the DVD sales, if it becomes a cult classic like Mallrats,
I was going to say,
then you just get that on the VHS and DVD sales. But now since we don't have that and everything just goes to streaming, studios are very wary of actually being like, okay, yeah, we'll give you $6 million because they're probably not going to, or $100 million now.
I saw that interview you're talking about, and it's like Hollywood only wants grand slams.
Yes.
You have no room for home runs, you have no room for singles, you have no room for bunts. It's got to be out of the park, bases loaded, or we're not interested in making it. And that's why you have. And I like these movies, but that's why you have 37 Avengers movies, and you have absolutely no low budget buddy comedies.
Yeah.
It's so sad because you think about like Step Brothers. You think about
That was probably the final era.
yeah, it was.
I think that's a
Talladega
valid.
Nights, Step Brothers. That was probably
And all
That was
everything you've mentioned there is all revolving around one man. That was the Will Ferrell era, where it was like basically every movie between like 2001 and like 2014. I just made those years up, but somewhere in that range. The whole pitch was Will Ferrell is a blank race car driver, ice skater. Like it's yeah.
great movies.
And they all work. And they all work is the fun part about it. But yeah, it's such a bummer because you're right. There isn't that backup plan of like, we don't need it to be a grand slam in the theater. It can get on base and then DVD sales will drive it home eventually, sort of thing. And then there's so many cases too, like tragedies where it's like good movies that get shut down for stupid reasons. Like off the top of my head, Idiocracy comes to mind, which was a fantastic film that basically somebody buried at the executive level because they had some sort of issue with it and they didn't give it the public, like it only got like 1 week in theaters, like contractually, and it didn't even have a movie poster when it first originally came out. Like that came out for the DVD. And then the other big one, you brought up Kevin Smith earlier. If you ever want a story that'll just piss you off, the Dogma movie is almost impossible to find now.
You know how I watched that recently?
How did you do it?
My buddy has a VHS of it.
Nice. I have it on DVD.
Sealed.
Jesus.
Yeah, we opened it up.
That may have been a mistake.
It probably was.
We're talking about your bad life choices, bro.
His VHS, I said, "Oh, you have Dogma," and he was like, "Open it."
That's crazy, dude. That's nuts.
Insane.
I think it was sealed. It might have been another one that we had that was sealed that we watched it.
But either way, if you don't own a copy of it, it's hard to find, and it's mostly because Harvey Weinstein Weinstein, whatever, the Me Too guy. He also doesn't like Kevin Smith. Like they just don't get along or whatever.
Because
And
Kevin Smith was very open. Like he worked with Miramax. Obviously, he made most of his movies with Miramax, but he was also very open. Like I don't want this guy on my set.
makes sense.
Who, Kevin Smith?
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
I will say at this point, I've been a Kevin Smith fan for a really long time, and I kind of agree with the feedback to some extent that like what made Kevin great was identifying with the struggle, and that he clearly doesn't identify with anymore. The man hasn't struggled in decades, but I still stand by the fact that he makes some really great movies, but his peak, in my opinion, is his evening with Kevin Smith, or his like basically Q&A sessions that he'll do, where he will just dish on other celebrities in the most brutally honest way. Like, dude, he rips Bruce Willis to pieces.
Where is
talking
this?
about evening. It's literally called An Evening with Kevin Smith, and there's like 7 of them now. But Bruce, I think famously Bruce Willis and Prince, he tells these epic stories about them that's just like completely just ripping the veil of Hollywood down and being like, no, this is what this dude is like. And Prince, it wasn't like he never came off as like Prince was mean-spirited, but Prince was crazy. But Bruce Willis, apparently just a total prick. And he's like unapologetically like, fuck that dude.
That's why he can't remember his own name now.
I was about to say that people that are shitty in this life
comes back.
go
Comes
out.
back to you, dude.
They go out of this life in the sickest ways. I know someone that was just a horrible person, and the way that they died was, if not the definition of punishment, I don't know what is, because I would hate to go out that way. But I've noticed that like people that are just so shitty go out like the worst ways possible. Like just they suffer so much towards the end. And it's like,
if they make it to old age.
If they make it to old age, they don't kill themselves by then.
I heard OJ died by 1 million emoji knife stabbings. So yeah, it's a pretty rough way to go.
Cancer, dude.
Somehow even worse.
Yeah.
Dude, I got tortured yesterday by I'm a fairly new cat dad, probably because of the Taylor Swift thing. I didn't really piece that together. No, I've always been a dog person my whole life, but recently got cats. But I love them most of the time. But one of my cats, his name is Catrick. He is very food aggressive. And yesterday I was in a hurry to get ready for the show, and I'm like trying to eat like chips and salsa, and he's like stalking me and whatnot. and he clawed out to get a chip out of my hand, and his claw went straight into the tip of my thumb. And I realized in that moment, it was like his claw and my thumb were docking. It was fucking awful. And I realized like that is a torture device that I never really like put together, but I feel like the inside of my thumb is bruised right now. It hurts so fucking bad.
Did it get like in between the nail? Because they used to do that in Vietnam.
It's just under the nail. It just went straight in, like, so that's just like the opening, but it just went straight in basically.
Yeah. See, I can never own a cat.
That was a torture device that they used in Vietnam. They would put bamboo under the nails of American POWs.
I hate that.
And then they would also, there was another torture device where they would basically like tie them limb to limb. I don't know if this is Vietnam. This might have been way earlier.
Probably multiple cultures.
Yeah, probably.
They were quartered.
There was like a pit underneath them. They were tied limb to limb, and they had bamboo growing under them. And bamboo grows fast.
Oh, really?
And it'll grow through?
It grows through.
Oh, dude.
I want to go to that museum, that museum of torture history. Yeah.
Isn't that in like Philadelphia?
I think so.
Pennsylvania? Yeah, somewhere in Pennsylvania, maybe?
That's
somewhere up there.
Why?
I want to go. It looks cool.
God.
Honestly, same. That's the crazy thing about horror people that get freaked out about horror movies and stuff. I always kind of like it's a disconnect for me. Another thing where you kind of have to turn your brain off, like we talked about. But everything that you've ever seen in a horror movie was done on a way worse level in real life. Like to get inspiration for your fiend and a villain in your horror film, you just have to read some history and you'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds terrible. This guy does that.
And a lot of the times it's recent history because like a lot of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on like multiple serial killers of the time.
Time is crazy.
So it's not even like you're going back centuries and looking at medieval torture. It's just like, oh yeah, there was this guy that lived 20 years before I did. I'm gonna make a movie about it. Yeah.
It's like the tale you hear down the street when you're growing up as a kid. That really did happen down the street for a lot of people. Yeah, it's wild, dude. People always call out the Saw franchise, which is another franchise. It's also gone 10 plus movies at this point. I still love them. Saw X was the most recent one. So just like Fast and the Furious, though, dude. It's the Fast and the Furious of the horror world because the longer you go, they just decide to change rules periodically along the way, and they get more and more utterly ridiculous. But they're still an absolute blast. But that's always like the scapegoat for people, like the Grand Theft Auto of the video game world, because they're like, oh, this is the worst franchise in history. We're just torturing people. It's torture, or what do they call it? Gore porn or whatever? Torture porn. And it's like, nah, dude, that's just like a weaker version of something that they used to do to people in like New Orleans because they thought they were a witch.
That's crazy.
Yep.
You're so right. They could just go in history and look up at the worst things.
Yeah.
I didn't even. That's crazy.
You don't have to go too far back.
Not even that far back, dude.
You don't have to go too far back in our history.
No, not even a little bit.
We are a young country by a lot of standards.
Yeah, by every standard. I mean, there are not that many newer ones that I can think of.
Are we the newest? Are we the baby?
No, there's got to be
country.
Well, I mean,
I didn't study for this podcast, so I'm not really sure the answer to that.
I kind of want to Google that now.
Yeah, I
think we are.
I know that we are like at best preteen by comparison to other countries.
Israel. We were founded before Israel. Israel was founded in 1940 something.
The fact that you threw out a year made me feel more confident that you're right. Before that, I was like, that's crazy. Isn't Israel in like the Bible or something?
That's what I was just about to say, yeah.
No, Palestine is in the Bible.
Oh, jeez.
All that was Palestine before Israel, but yeah, it was Israel.
Dude, I will be very honest. I am so ignorant when it comes to world geography, which I think is proof that America is not necessarily number one in education.
Can you name all the state capitals?
God, no.
Damn
Why would I waste space in my brain for that skill?
I was hoping you were going to say yes and be like America.
I can sing every word to America. Fuck yeah. Does that count?
Yes.
Can you say all the states? Do you know all the states?
No, I never learned that Animaniac song.
That's a great song.
We don't know the states.
So
I know most of the states.
There's so many things like that like we learned when we were kids or whatever. Some of us did. Apparently, I didn't. But like I remember memorizing like multiplication tables and things like that. And it's so funny to me that the thing back then with that was like, well, you need to learn this stuff because it's not like you're going to walk around every day with a calculator in your pocket and just like. Dude, I don't even need to learn anything. Like, I can go to the grocery store with no meal plan and just be like, what recipe do I want? Google and like
and just buy everything in there.
just buy the recipe.
You're
and
gonna
then
take a
make
long
that,
time.
And
That's what the red pill community is like really against, where they're just like, women these days don't even have a recipe book. Yes, they fucking do. It's in their
everybody
pocket.
does.
It's in
Yeah.
their
Also,
pocket.
you have it too,
What a
dipshit.
fucking swing that is. They don't have a recipe book. Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, they also don't have a specific spot in their hallway where their phone goes. Like,
The phone nook.
yeah,
The phone
yeah,
nook. Not the phone nook.
yeah. There's no
older
chamber
houses.
pot anymore either. Like, good lord.
Yeah, older houses, like if you go into them, like houses that were made in like the 50s, they have like a weird little nook. I think this one has one actually.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
possible.
I think
And it's
it's over
you
here.
know which one in between the hallway? Yeah.
He has it decorated with like a candle or something.
Dude, honestly, that's kind of the fun thing about little weird things like that is you can use them as some pretty cool, unique spaces and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
My house was built in the like early 1960s, and it's definitely got some character to it.
Yeah, I love houses like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great,
I love
honestly.
houses like that.
Yeah, we bought a new house, like a Brent, like it's a 2023, you know.
Yeah.
So and it doesn't have character. Like
But,
I will be
one
very-
day it will. If the world
For
survives long
somebody,
enough,
yeah.
like there's going to be a family of four
the
in
house survives long
2080
enough,
something.
honestly.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I do wonder about that because if you look at like furniture that's made now just like doesn't last. And
It's
I
not even
remember
wood.
Oh.
It's not even wood. It's like a
Wood
composite
particle
wood.
or whatever. Yeah,
particle wood.
And I remember, like, you know, everybody I knew when I was a kid had the same couch the entire time I knew them. Like,
Yes.
I don't know anybody that has that nowadays. It feels like it's something that just gets replaced. Same with like beds and
I've had
all
like 3
furniture.
different couches.
Yeah.
and I'm 32.
So if that rule applies to houses on any level, it does make you wonder. Because yeah, my house is like essentially 60 years old or so. You hope that houses last till 2080 now.
I know.
I'm not gonna
gee.
be there in 2080.
Yeah, true. It's not your problem for sure.
Yeah, as soon as something cracks, I'm flipping that bitch.
Oh, God. How long have you been going?
30 minutes by this one, but I had to restart. So I think we've been going a little over an hour. I can check the video.
Okay, check the video. That's why I don't do the audio.
Double fisting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hour 10.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Oh God. Okay, y'all. Good to end it. Wrap it up. Thank you so much, Miles, for coming on the podcast. I'll be honest. I didn't want to ask you because when I saw you at the roast battle, I was like, "Oh, he's not gonna want to come on our podcast."
I'm so glad you asked me. I had such a great time.
You were killing Jamie. I just wanted to say that. I wanted
We
to
also
say
mentioned
that.
it to him last week when he was here.
Yes, I told him Miles killed you. I probably didn't, but
No, you did.
Oh.
I was sitting right here. You told him right there.
it wasn't even a question.
Hey,
was-
dude, honestly, I'll say this about. I know you're wrapping up, but I'll speak on roast real quick. I'm
Yeah,
not. I have a reputation as a really good roaster, and I don't really love roasting. Like, it's one of those things that I'll do it occasionally, but I have a pretty strong feeling towards. In roast battles, I only will roast people if I'm like actually good friends with them. Like I actually know Jamie. Him and I are gonna go have a beer, smoke a bowl after. We're gonna be friends regardless. So we can poke fun at each other and have a good time with it.
Yeah.
I kind of get really burned out, and it feels like a very lazy way, in my opinion, where so many people lean on roasting as like their comedic like crutch essentially, and I don't have any desire to go up on stage and just make fun of a random person. Like that's it's not. I have plenty of material shooting at myself. There's a lot to make fun of here.
Yeah. Well, similar to that, like what you were saying is like you're very good at it. I've seen you.
Yeah.
You're very good at it.
Very good at it.
Like it's not the way that you want to be known as. I guess I would say.
I would always rather go tell jokes that I wrote and laugh with you than be mean to somebody. And like, it's probably something I was bullied when I was a kid. I don't want to put that on other people.
Yeah. Sorry. It's similar to like OJ. Like he was great at football, but his true love was his true love was murder.
Bro, that was such a killer way to end this podcast.
I do want to say that when after I saw you at the roast battle and then when you went on for Sam, I was like, oh, okay. It's not just that he does. It's great.
Oh yeah, no. What you saw when I got to open for Sam Miller is definitely more in tune.
Yeah.
With who I am as a comic, I'm very stoked. Again, this Friday night at Reno's, I'm headlining a show that our mutual friend Anthony is putting together.
Shout out Anthony.
Shout out Anthony. And then on Saturday, I'm headlining a show on 420 at a weed festival in Austin. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dang, if we would have known, I would have gone.
Still not too late. Come on down.
Thank you guys so much for watching this week's interview with Miles. Make sure y'all are following Miles. Can you tell them you're at?
I am everywhere online at Mr. Most Days Off.
Mr. Most Days Off. Actually, that's such a good name too. Guys, follow Mr. Most Days Off, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Tina's Mechanical Services. Are you tired of the relentless Texas heat turning your home into an oven? Look no further. Introducing Tina's Mechanical Services, your trusted HVAC experts ready to cool things down and keep your family comfortable. At Tina's Mechanical Services, we understand the